Every man is first drawn by what he sees, but only stays for what he feels. That's not cynicism. That's biology meeting truth. Lust is instant. Love is earned. We live in a world that glorifies the spark but forgets the fire that sustains it. The first moment of attraction is not love, it's reckon, endebarnation, ishin. A man's eyes see beauty, but his heart only commits to substance. Lust is not a sign of disrespect, it as a sign of nature. But when that attraction doesn't evolve, when it never matures into respect, it reveals immaturity, not passion. You see, when a man lusts after you, he's responding to what he can possess. When he loves you, he's responding to what he can honor. Lust is self-serving. Love is self-sacrificing. The tragedy is that most people mistake the first rush of desire for connection, and they surrender their worth before it is even seen. But attraction without depth is like a fire without wood. It burns bright, then dies fast. If you want to understand why men lust first, you must understand how men are wired. A man's biology is built for pursuit, but his psychology decides whether that pursuit ends in conquest or commitment. The difference lies in how a woman positions and demands her value. When she presents herself as a prize to be won, she invites temporary attention, but when she stands as a standard to be met, she commands enduring respect. Lust wants access, love seeks permission. Lust asks, can I have you? Love asks, can I earn you? And the answer to that quest, NTRION, is written not in words, but in your boundaries. A woman who rushes into intimacy too early often confuses chemistry with connection. She feels desired, not realizing that desire without direction leads to disappointment. But a woman who values her energy understands this attraction may open teep and barn he door, but self-respect decides who walks through it. Men don't fall in love by accident. They fall in love through consistency, through witnessing a woman who holds herself with dignity even when attention tempts her to lower her standards. That's what transforms lust into love. Not beauty. Not availability, but the quiet strength of restraint. There's a reason so many relationships begin in fire and end in ashes. They were never built on respect, they were built on reaction. Real love demands tension, the kind that forces both people to grow beyond their impulses. It's easy to desire some bibari E1. It's hard to deserve them. But that struggle, that resistance is what turns attraction into admiration. When a man truly loves, it's because he's been challenged to see a woman not as an escape from his loneliness, but as a mirror of his own potential. Love doesn't just comfort him, it comfort and braronsin. And only a woman with strength, patience and authenticity can create that shift. So understand this truth, lust is not the enemy, it is the invitation, but what follows determines your story. A woman who chases instant validation will always be pursued for pleasure. A woman who embodies Q&BRA yet confidence will be pursued for partnership. Because the same man who once lusted for you will learn to love you when you refuse to let him confuse your body for your worth. Don't rush to be chosen. Make him rise to meet you. Let your mystery breathe. Let your silence teach him patience. And repeat your value, not your availability, to find the rhythm of connection. Because the power was never in being desired, it was always in being respected. Lust is what the eyes notice. Love is what the soul recognizes. One is a spark of biology, the other is the slow burn of understanding. You can confuse the two, because one feeds the ego while the other feeds the spirit. Lust begins when someone sees you and wants to experience you. Love begins when someone knows you and chooses to understand you. We live in a culture that worships perception. Everything is filtered, posed, and performed. WNW to EVE trained ourselves to chase attraction instead of alignment. That's why so many connections burn out before they ever begin, because lust needs an image, but love demands truth. Lust says you are beautiful. Love says I see your strength, your struggle, your silence. Lust feeds on elusio anti-barn, love survives on revelation. When a man first meets you, he is responding to what his senses register, your voice, your presence, your confidence. It is instant, powerful, instinctive. But that's just perception, the outer layer. The mistake is thinking that instant spark equals depth. It doesn't. Lust is a flash of light. Love is a sunrise. One blinds you, the other illuminates everything. Love doesn't happen in the rush. It happens in the pauses, in the moments when you see beyond the surface. Revelation is the slow unveiling of truth, the process through which someone's character, Patty and NTR on NCE, and emotional discipline reveal who they really are. That's why love takes time. It demands space for authenticity to show itself. Most relationships fail because people never allow revelation to unfold. They jump from attraction to attachment without ever testing alignment. They mistake chemies and DBR and try for compatibility. But here's the truth. Chemistry is the language of perception. Compatibility is the result of revelation. You can know who someone is by how they make you feel in the beginning. You learn it by what they reveal when comfort fades and character is tested. A man who truly loves you doesn't just admire your appearance. He respects your depth. He doesn't just desire your presence. He values your principles. And that shift only happens when you give him the chance to earn revelation, not just perception. When you reveal everything too soon, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, you rob the process of discovery. You hand over the mystery before it's been earned. And mystery isn't about manipulation, it's about value. It is the sacred space where trust and curiosity meet. Revelation should feel deserved, not demanded. That's why boundaries matter. They are not walls, they are filters. They separate those who are captivated by your image from those who are committed to your essence. Lust may chase you for your body, but love stays for your being. Boundaries teach others that your worth cannot be accessed through flattery, only through patience and consistency. In lust, people seek pleasure. In love, they seek purpose. Lust asks, what can I get? Love asks, what can I give? Lust consumes, love cultivates. And you will never experience the power of love if you keep accepting the noise of lust, disguised as connection. True revelation happens in silence, ENRN, the way someone listens when you speak, in how they handle your absence, in whether they protect your peace when no one's watching. Those moments reveal the soul far more than any grand gesture or compliment. So when you are tempted to measure connection by excitement, stop and ask, what has been revealed here? Has this person seen my depth or only my surface? Have they met my energy or only my image? Because if revelation hasn't begun, love hasn't either. Understand this perception is fleeting. It fades as soon as novelty disappears. But revelation builds something eternal. When Somo Borone sees you through perception, they desire what you represent. When they love you through revelation, they cherish who you are. That is why love transforms both people. Because revelation doesn't just expose the other, it refines you. It forces honesty, patience, and vulnerability. You can fake Arnie. You can rush it. It's earned through consistency, tested by absence, and proven by respect. And here's the paradox. The very thing that makes love powerful is what makes lust weak time. Lust decays with time, love grows through it. The longer lust lasts, the more it reveals its emptiness. The longer love lasts, the more it reveals its strength. So don't be deceived by quick intensity. Real connection doesn't rush. It unfolds. The people who are meant to love you will never be intimidated by your layers. They will be drawn to them. They'll see revelation as a privilege, not a challenge. Remember this, lust begins with perception. Love begins with revelation. One looks at you, the other sees you. One wants to touch your skin, the other wants to hold your soul. And when you learn to value revelation over perception, you stop chasing validation and start attracting devotion. Attract DBR and ion is instinct. It happens before thought, before logic, before choice. But attachment, that is a decision. a commitment born from what he feels after the desire fades. A man's attraction might pull him toward you, but it's your depth, your strength, your self-respect that make him stay. In the beg and borrow inning, attraction is chemical. It's the spark in his blood, the adrenaline in his pulse. It's nature's way of saying, pay attention. But Don T confused that energy for love, because the same force that draws him close can disappear once curiosity is satisfied. Lust is primal, but love is persona, NDRL. And if you want a man's heart, not just his hunger, you must understand what bridges that distance. A man's attraction is driven by what he sees. His attachment is shaped by what he feels when he sees you again and again. Desire might bring him close once, but consistency, mystery, and respect are what make him stay. A man doesn't attach to beauty, he attaches to meaning. He doesn't commit to excitement, he commits to peace. You see, attraction makes him notice you, but attachment makes him protect you. Attraction lives in impulse. Attachment lives in respect. The first is fast and fiery. The second is slow and sacred. Many women mistake one for the other and end up heartbroken, not because they weren't desired, but because they were never valued. To a man, attraction is biological, but attachment is psychological. He's drawn by what ignites his senses, but he stays for what challenges and disarms his spirit. Every man, no matter how confident, craves something rare. A woman who doesn't try to impress him but centers herself. A woman who doesn't chase approval but commands respect through her presence. That S, where attachment is born in the quiet realization that he can replace you and bar energy. When a man feels attraction, he's driven by instinct. When he feels attachment, he's driven by admiration. Lust asks, how do I win her? Attachment asks, how do I deserve her? The difference lies in what you allow him to earn. If everything about you is instantly available, your time, your emotions, your body, he has nothing to work for, and what costs him nothing rarely holds his respect. A woman's power is not in how much she gives it, in what she chooses to withhold until she sees genuine effort. Boundaries don't repel real men, they refine them. They separate the ones are chasing a thrill from the ones who are seeking a connection. A man who truly wants to attach will not be scared by patience, he'll be shaped by it. Because attachment is not born in desire, it's born in trust. When he realizes that you can be swayed by flattery, manipulated by attention, or broken by distance, his instincts evolve. He no longer sees you as a conquest, he sees you as a standard. And standards are what transform a man's attraction into devotion. A man's primal side wants to possess, his higher nature wants to protect. The shift happens when he meets a woman who doesn't feed his ego, but awakens his integrity. That when attraction deepens into something sacred. That when his masculine energy no longer seeks control, but begins to serve not out of weakness, but out of reverence. Understand this, men fall for what catches their eye, but they stay for what ansigenbarhors their soul. You don't need to be the loudest, the most glamorous, or the most available. You need to be centered. When your emotions aren't for sale, when your peace isn't disturbed by who comes and goes, that's when you become unforgettable. Because your stability exposes his chaos, and that contrast pulls him in deeper than desire ever could. Attraction may start the story, but attachment writes chapters. A man can be drawn to many women, but he only bonds with the one who makes him feel safe to be seen, not just admired for his strength, but accepted for his vulnerability. A woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't compete. She allows revelation to do the work. She understands that if attraction is easy, attachment must be earned. So never try to hold a man with appearance or intensity. Hold him with calmness, with mystery, with quiet confidence. Let him chase, let him learn, let him earn access to your heart. Because what is earned is respected, what is given too quickly is forgotten. Attraction makes him curious. Attachment makes him loyal. Attraction fades when novelty ends. Attachment grows when authenticity begins. And authenticity can be P-E-E-E-R-R formed. It's felt in your silence, in your strength, in how you walk away when something doesn't serve your peace. A man's attraction is primal. His attachment is earned. And what earns it is not perfection, but presence. Be the woman who doesn't beg for love, but embodies it. Because once he realizes your energy can be replaced, no other face or body will ever be enough. Depth is not something you show it as, something that must be discovered. Real love requires exploration, patience, and courage. But most people never experience it because they settle for being seen instead of being understood. They trade authenticity for attention and then wonder why their connections feel hollow. The truth is simple but harsh. You can be loved deeply by someone who hasn't earned the right to see who you are beneath your surface. Attraction begins with what's visible: beauty, energy, confident, NDRCE. But love begins with what's hidden. If a person only knows your smile, your charm, your stories, they may desire you, but they do not know you. And where there is no understanding, there can be no depth. Superficial connections are easy. They require no risk, no honesty, no real vulnerability. You can play your role, they can play theirs, and together you can perform something that looks like love. But deep love, the kind that transforms both souls, can survive on performance. It demands exposure. It requires that you allow yourself to be seen in your truth, not your mask. Many people fear that kind of exposure. They hide behind perfection because they believe love is conditional. They think, if I show my flaws, I'll lose them. But the opposite is true. What you hide can never be loved. You can only be loved where you be honest. Deep love grows in the soil of truth, not illus enafraon. When someone only knows your surface, they love what you represent, not who you are. They love the image, not the essence. But when someone loves your depth, they see your fears, your imperfections, your contradictions, and they stay. That's when love becomes sacred, because it's not built on what's pleasing, it's built on what's real. To be known deeply means to allow yourself to be revealed slowly, to invite someone into your world, one truth at a time. It's not about oversharing it, about allowing connection to mature through trust. Depth cannot be rushed. It's earned through conscious and tensi through moments where words fall short and presence speaks louder. If someone rushes to claim they love you before they've taken time to learn your layers, understand they love how you make them feel, not who you are. Infatuation is fast. Understanding is slow. Lust says, I want you now, T-bar-N. Love says, I want to know you forever. You cannot receive deep love while wearing a mask. Masks attract attention, but they block intimacy. When you hide your struggles, your wounds, your truth, you rob others of the chance to love you for your realness. Deep love begins when you stop perfo tiaran ariming for approval and start existing in truth. When you no longer try to control how you are perceived, you open space for genuine connection. It takes strength to reveal who you are in a world obsessed with appearance. It takes courage to say, this is me, unfiltered, imperfect, real. But that courage is what separates shallow encounters from soul-level bonds. Because when someone sees your rawness and still chooses to stay, you experience love that doesn't just excite you, it heals you. Remember, not everyone deserves access to your depth. You must protect it. Depth is sacred. It's not meant to be handed to those who only linger at the surface. A person who avoids depth is afraid of reflection. They fear that if they dive into your truth, they'll have to face their own. So they keep things light, playful, temporary. But you are not here to be temporary. You are here to be transformative. When someone truly loves you deeply, they don't just adore your light. They honor your darkness. They don't walk away when things get heavy. They lean in. They don't love you because you make them comfortable. They love you because your presence awakens something real inside them. That SW and debartion hat deep love does. It doesn't flatter the ego, it nourishes the soul. But you can attract that kind of love if you keep showing people only fragments of yourself. You can expect deep connection from shallow authenticity. What you reveal teaches others how to meet you. If you stay at the surface and they will too. If you go deep, invite them to rise to your level or fall away if they cannot handle it. So don't fear being misunderstood. Fear pretending so well that no one ever gets the chance to understand you at all. Because pretending keeps you safe, but it also keeps you alone. Here, the paradox. To be loved deeply, you must risk being rejected completely. Only by revealing who you are can you find who truly belongs. The surface attracts many, the depth reveals the few. Those few, the ones who stay when you require, flawed or uncertain, are the ones who truly love you. A spirit P love isn't loud, it's steady. It's the kind of connection that grows stronger through storms, not weaker. It's built through understanding, not fantasy. And that love will never exist with someone who only knows your surface, because love without depth is just decoration.